Hello crypto friends, it's the Crypto Sniper. We're going to discuss in this video, where is Bitcoin after all this SEC, and there may be more to come, who knows. We'll discuss scenario costs, we'll have a look at Bitcoin, that is the god market of the overall crypto market, but also we're going to take a look at XRP. Big last month for XRP. We're going to show you that heat map of how it's done relatively and why we think it's going to continue to do well and bias to the upside. We're going to touch on those two things. We're going to touch on people's comments sometimes and with reference to Bitcoin. What's its progress like? We made the statement that actually this is one of the most bullish retracements we have seen. What is our take on the overall crypto market in this environment? Don't forget, you have Bitcoin supposedly in the clear as being a security. Ethereum not overtly cleared, not attacked yet, potentially. And then the rest of crypto largely being considered a security, certainly all the macro tokens, and particular emphasis on the DeFi. So let's get into talking about where is the crypto market generally before we drill down on XRP, and let's also do that with reference to the kind of questions that people ask. So if you're not already following us on @the Crypto Sniper, you should do it now, as well as on the Market Sniper for the macro aspects. By the way, big piece of data coming out, and we see gold likely to take a major move in either up or down direction off of this data. So I think tomorrow, in terms of core CPI, is going to be a big piece of information that's going to drop. Expectations for inflation and interest rates will have material effects on gold and the larger anti-fiat environment. So I want you all just to keep that in mind and just allow for that to be a major role player tomorrow. Okay, let's go. Oh, and here we are, by the way. Also was just going to talk about the PulseChain on the back end of that for those that are interested in my take on Pulse and how I've handled Pulse, both Pulse and PulseX. So let's go to Bitcoin first and start right there. So why am I so bullish about something that's been going down since April the 14th? That sounds like Valentine's Day. How ironic. That's if I've got it right. I don't tend to get these things right. There you go. That's the draw in and around there. Let's have a look. There it was. 14th of April. You hit a high somewhere between 30,500, 600, 700 and 31,000. Let's get the exact number. Actually, we should do that properly. So high was 31, just through the 31K. And since then, largely, despite rallies, you've been making lower highs and lower lows. But Dow theory, you might say, particularly on this time frame we're sitting on the daily, Dow theory explains that for the time frame under review, if you're making higher highs and higher lows, you're in an uptrend, and if you're making lower highs and lower lows, you are in a downtrend. Yes, for that particular time frame under review, that has been more broadly down than not. However, the manner in which you go down is very important. Also, the existing structure that coexisted prior to that is also very important. And as many of you will know, we've called a inverted head and shoulder break with the 25K neckline. We've continued to assert that that neckline could get revisited in spite of this bullish reversal situation. So our overall opinion, and I'll take you back up to that for those of you watching for the very first time on the Crypto Sniper. By the way, smash the like, book a call. First link in the description below. Click the link and book a call. Only engage to our website. So you will know that we went from a very low level, sub 19.7, into a very strong move that had a little tip-tap-toe at the key event of significance. That is, you wait for it, 25K, the key round number, the neckline for this particular, and you continue to assert a whole bunch further, smaller time frames, squeezing out a final high, which we've discussed is 31,000. Through the 31,000 from below the 19.7 thousand. So that's 19.7K to 31K. Now, I'm here to tell you that was quite a respectful move in spite of what was a terrible bear market with lots of overhanging, wrecked retail, etc., FTX, 3 arrows, you name it, every FUD story, etc. So you actually picked up 11,000 on 19,000 approximately. And that, by my reckoning, is more than half. That means a more than 50% move. You've got almost 12 on 20, divide by the 4s, you kind of got 3 over 5. That's looking at about 60% move. A 60% move on a big cap token that's at least $500 million at the worst moment in terms of market cap. I better check my maths there. I'm not sure if that's still right. We'll check it out when we go to coin market cap, but considerable sum. What tends to happen though is you never go up in straight lines. This is what we say. We were bullish and we continue to assert bullish, and we pointed out that you could enter here on a technical run of the 20K some time ago. Our thesis is still good, and your stop is an extremely tight right shoulder on a head and shoulder. We'll go and show you the full pattern in a second when I just compress the time frame a little more. So that is the bullish reversal. Now many people saying, no, it's not a bull, more FUD. So people have become so trained to bearishness that now they only see bears. They don't see the inklings of new light. They don't see the momentum actually has changed for Bitcoin. They don't see that now it's bear framing for everything. And this is that macro draw. Look at this larger scenario. Of course you may stall a wee bit over here when you're coming into legacy major capitulation flags. How do we do the key level of significance through that? Through the two corners. Boom, bosh, bosh. You're talking about the key round number of 30K, which you ran ice capping, or as we like to say, iceberging, just through the 30 grand level, a teeny weeny bit before you have a pullback, plus the consolidation of a key 25K line is often the run up and kiss, the wind up, the break, and the revisit. This is technical analysis 101, and we even suggested when it was still quite high up and it was some way away that possibility existed for a revisit to neckline. It was less likely then, and we've continued to say it gets more likely with the passage of time, especially while there's a bit of fuddiness going around. We could get, some people have said, what if an extra little bit of FUD came out and the SEC clarified their stance on Ethereum and went for their all-conquering land grab of authority over your issuance of money by saying it's a security. You could indeed get the crypto space overall go, wow, that's the second biggest, most significant token. Could they even look at BTC? Skittishness, nervousness, and you can get the technical run we need. Bear in mind that is not a touch of 25K. It means it trades below 25K. That could be 24.5, could even be in a spike of spasmic fear and loathing, 23.9. We don't know that level. Key levels of significance are typically just run. That is our theory. We don't know by how much unless we get a pattern that generates geometry for us. And in the moment, I won't say too much about that. It doesn't seem overtly clear at this point. However, our target remains 46.49, and we expect this to get, when it's done, and if it doesn't have to run the 25K, but if it does, that you could in fact get a very impulsive move that will follow. You see, the time to be bullish, friends, was here after you'd made the 25K and were pulling back and you were starting to get the hammer reversal. The time the retail market watching this video got bullish was here after 2 mega pumpamental candles. And that's when they're watching our videos, and that's when they're saying he's bullish, and that's when they come and cry, like our friend over here. He said it's a bullish market. No, we said it's the most bullish pullback you could have. A major bullish move could reaffirm after this 25K run event, or even before without doing it. That is the element. So when we get this kind of comment over here, you said BTC up, clearly falling channel 2 months now, back to range lows 16K then. No, we don't agree with that, and our entire inverted head and shoulder is invalid, and we say not a reversal. We were wrong on the break of the 19,500 level. So we don't have to wait for 16K. We accept we're wrong well before. So what this is a gradual, lengthy time period for shedding a moderate amount of value, 31 to potentially 25, possibly just below, but so far only 25.9 The absolute low might be 25.5 so far. So you've actually only come 6 grand back on an 11 grand pump. Now, people that understand Fibonacci knows regularly you can remain in a bull market when you have a full 61%, as much as a 61%, but even half, there's 2 levels, half a retracement of value, and then go still again up. It's the manner that it goes up. How hard was it on the upside? Super strong. How did it come down? Broadening structure, channel structure, taking long time to take back. Long time to take back. This is a lengthy period, and it only dipped for a short while and then ran. This is a lengthy period. You're talking about April the 14th, and then you're here today, and we're almost the 14th again. This is being recorded the 12th of June. You might be watching it tomorrow morning. That's the 13th of June. You're looking at 2 months to drop 6K. And how long did it take you to go from 19 to 25? 2 candles. 2 candles on a 2-day time frame to make 6K. So let's just recover that again. 2 candles, you traded that high of 26,000 from a low of 19.7. You made 6K in 2 candles. You've taken 2 months to take 6K off the high. The dominance is on the up legs, not the retracements. This is in an upside reversal triggering pattern. This is absolutely necessary. The price of crypto is being managed by FUD, the SEC uncertainty. Markets hate uncertainty, not clarity. Even if it's negative clarity. You're all securities. The whole goddamn lot of you. Okay, now we know. Now we register. How do we register? What do we need to do? We want to do, go through the process, get registered. That's it. Clarity. Markets don't like, and by the way, markets isn't you and I. Markets are the big money that moves stuff. The institutions that want to get into crypto, that recognize it's playing its role, but have to play by rules or regulated themselves, don't want to be caught playing in dodgy, unclarified gray areas, must wait till clarity. Clarity is sought, and now this is the most bullish thing that has occurred, that the SEC has broadened its attack vector of just isolating and persecuting Ripple, prosecuting and persecuting Ripple alone, by incorporating all the other tokens that it has incorporated, including BUSD and all the other top 10 macros that aren't stable coins. Why not all stables if you're attacking BUSD? I don't know. I haven't read the detail. I don't want to get into legal weeds. I don't care. The truth of the matter is, by broadening the attack, I've now picked a fight, not just with you, where we can, handbags and throw insults. Your whole gang of friends are now there, and they've all got lawyers and sticks in their hands and everything. So I'm going to have to put up now. I've started and upset a lot of people. I've been aggressive. I've gone and tried to stir mischief across the realm. Now they're all shown up at my door. They're all ready to fight. They've got lawyers and weapons, etc. I'm going to have to say, whoa, okay, let me clarify this situation. That's where we're at. So actually, the escalation is ensuring the clarification, because you've pissed so many people off. The SEC will be getting lawyers, letters, demands for clarity from all sorts of parties now, each one with their own corporate lawyer, each individual, stable coins, exchanges, all talking smack about them. They've got everybody on their back. They've got public sentiment against the SEC, and now the SEC have bitten loads off that they've got to now chew. They've got to put their helmets on and hunker down, because everybody wants clarity, and the way that they have behaved is anything but clarifying. So now they've put themselves under the microscope, and this means faster process to clarity. Never mind the FTX revelations and everything else that can be thrown to them. So as a wannabe policeman in the space, this is actually bullish. It's the final piece of FUD where markets barely go down on that FUD, only to go up much harder as a result afterwards. And that means even if it's terrible news, as I've said, you're all securities. Guess what? People then know where they stand. Sure, they can challenge in court and draw the thing out, but at least in the meantime, they can prepare for being exactly that. This is a pullback. in a bull trend, and you could still, as we've said many times before, right from the beginning, have a technical run. We are wrong. The level that we are wrong at, I have clarified countless times, we are wrong there. Until then, we've made the macro call to the upside for Bitcoin. That's where you stand on the overall Bitcoin. Don't forget, bigger time frame, you're coming out of a major falling wedge, which has been replicated across every single benchmark comparison that we have measured Bitcoin against, and I'm not going to do them all here. You can go and look at our legacy videos where we compare Bitcoin to gold, Bitcoin to Amazon, Bitcoin to the NASDAQ, Bitcoin to every other cross asset. You've generally got a major fundamentals for what we refer to as the first cup gold nuggets, which we got everybody leveraged long and said it's one of those rare moments where you can be conservatively leveraged and you will make an amazing target. There is that amazing target. And then we said, bookended by the mother of Head and Shoulders. We've spoken of Head and Shoulders. We continuation traders. We have warned everybody for a long time that you had a whole spate of Head and Shoulders in there. You had a smaller one in there, you had another one in there, and you've literally picked the bottom with amazing execution to all of these downsides on a multiple level of basis. This is your God market Bitcoin that is between the bookends of a downside bear market involving a head and shoulder to the downside, with a final reversal being the other head and shoulders, the inverted variety, meaning to the upside. That is the rest of the whole story of your bear market. And the point at which we say we're wrong on that statement is quite clear and it's defined. Run me that level. Done. Done. You now know where we stand. So this, until then, is a retracement in a new early bull market, inside of which fiat currencies are all under far greater scrutiny, debt markets are under far greater scrutiny, and inflation is stubbornly high. Guess what? Who wants currencies right now? Never forget that this is Bitcoin USD. And you are being measured against failing fiats in an environment that those fiats are no longer being seen as of the same standard as they might have been seen 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Of course, we've had bank failure runs and various other things that led to the surge. Have we returned to this low since the SVB bank failure runs and all the others? No, sir, no, sir. 3 bags full, no, no, and no. So until such time as that happens, technically that remains the bull bias overall. We've also warned you that this could see Bitcoin get a little bit of dominance. Of course, this binary situation of who's a security and who isn't, where Bitcoin apparently is the only one that's been cleared thereof to any reasonable degree, sees the fact that Bitcoin dominance has popped out of the top, and that is something we've illustrated to you over here in the orange box. You have popped out of the Bitcoin dominance box, and that was a trend that we saw would go up. That is another call you received from us that for now it will go up. It will go up. However, it's not going to be dominating everything. We have also highlighted that in time Ethereum will do better. That is a broadening structure, and we expect that this will slow down after coming out here and come back down and revisit that, and that will all be on the back of the likes of Ethereum doing great, XRP doing great, particularly great, and by the way, in terms of great, let's just cover that. So 2 tokens that have done green in the last month since all of that happened. Let's have a look. Heat map for the last month, 1 month, Bitcoin down 3.68%. You can see that Ethereum has given up some ground during that period. Now we will cover the FBTC crosspair in a minute. Everything largely red on the major caps. So everything in here, other tokens not of interest for me. The lighter cap version tokens not of interest to me. We're not interested in manipulated tokens that are super small. I know Monero's in that. Those are still reasonable size. We don't get into the weeds of these small caps. We are essentially talking about the big boys and this box here. What are your 2 winners? XRP, TRX. ADA down, BNB down, Sol down, DOT down, VET down, NEAR down, File down, AVAX down, you name it, Litecoin down, Monero down, Lumen down, etc. The one core crypto call you have got from us has been stack the XRP. Stack the XRP, it will serve you well. So we've done the Bitcoin bull market, we've done the retrace period on the Bitcoin bull market. People have to understand time frames under review and recognize that the overall Bitcoin call is when it's done. And the longer it takes about its pullback, the better, without doing too much downside. All sorts of FUD, SEC FUD, this is small beer. Look at that. That's your bear market FUD, friends. That's real price action. That is horrible. That is 47.5 to 17. Merry Christmas on the biggest of them all. That is awful. This, my friends, is small beer. And I'll allow this box to extend below the 25 on the possibility that you trade yourself out at a 23.9 over there. There you go. Is that big beer after you've come from 15 to 31? 15.5 to 31? You've done 100x. You've done 100x in the time frame from there to there. And you telling me it's a bear market going to 16K, this guy, because this. Come on. You can do better than that. You've got a lot to learn on TA as far as that guy's concerned. And people get pissed off because you say it's going up and it didn't happen the next day, the next hour, the next minute. Grow up. Grow up. This is an adult channel. This is for people that understand. Moves don't go up in straight lines. There was clear signs of slowing over here. Then it's run into the FUD. It's made its key level. It consolidates the 25K by first breaking it with momentum and then retracing back to hold it. By the way, it's also at the target of one of the head and shoulders where it's gestating and hasn't traded much through. So that 26,171, there was a legacy target on a smaller scale, a head and shoulder, not that small, but significant. Left shoulder there, right shoulder there on the flag, and big head over there. Boom, 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 bosh. There you go. So you're breaking two key levels and you're consolidating above. So that is not something to be afraid of. But people just want moon, straight up spikes. They don't know how to play. This is an investment period. There aren't setups for longs right now. This is investment period. This is dollar cost averaging, small judicious amounts bought along the lows. But is it Bitcoin you buy? Well, I think Bitcoin has done fine, but that BTC dominance with that broadening structure is showing you it's not going to have it all its own way. It's probably going to have a pullback. And as we've continued to assert, ETH has been creeping up until the FUD comes on the likes of the events around the SEC. So let's just go take the eye off on that. And again, this is not terrifying stuff, guys. This is not terrifying stuff. You've come from there. You've come from 1,050 odd and you traded over 2,050. Hello? Another 100%. And what? We're wetting the bed now for $300 off on 2,000. That's around 15% give back. Come on. This can go a whole bunch lower. It can spill out the bottom and then snap up and trade 1,500 even and still be clearly a pullback just in a bull market and having a pullback. So there's scope for some FUD there. What will the SEC do with ETH? Who knows? Who knows? This broadening structure, this turning event. By the way, from its absolute lows, where it traded sub 900 and went as high as probably 2,100, so well through 100%. You've got another $300 in the bank account above 100% had you bought the absolute low. So again, I can see kind of wedgie creeping up. I can see another sell-off, a little bounce in here and pop. It can go lower and still be bull. That doesn't mean it has to go lower. But there is a little bit kicking around in terms of the general vibe in crypto, but I think it's overplayed. It's overplayed and it will end. So you've got a little bit of a sell-off there. How's it going to be treated? It was looking to hold itself up and it got a little bit sold off. So what does that mean for ETH, BTC? So again, we've covered this chart countless times. We've covered this chart countless times. We are bulls on ETH, BTC. However, In between now, and this is macro bulls. This is not tomorrow it goes up. This is macro bulls. You've got a grind line in here that's been broken to the downside. You've been grinding up. You've got 1, 2 impulses, and you're working a third in here across the channel. You could dip down to there, the low end, before you eventually break this descending red line here. And you'll still be in a bull market. I don't mind if this comes a little bit lower. It will be better for the structure. This is your dominant structure that you should be focused on in the bigger time frames. Up, up and over, up and drifting down. Drifting down with complexity, pushbacks. Okay, you've grinded up for a while, a stab down now. Okay, SEC FUD, Bitcoin is God. It's got no security fear around it. Boom, back up, breakout. And then third impulse, and off we go. There's our setup coming. This is upside continuation from a reversal that we called an unbelievably long time ago and rarely referenced nowadays because it's so old news and is so baked in. We traded that long to the upside. We called that, and then we got crapped on by a number of commenters when we said that's it, it's a break, it's a bull, because it pulled back. Never invalidated the right shoulder and then smashed it up. They don't come back and say, you know what, we're sorry, you're right, you ended up here. Because of that pullback, we're garbage. That's how the average YouTube commenter, not all of you, very few of you in fact, many of you don't comment, and the average Twitter guy responds. You have to tell them what do. What do I do? How perfectly will it be? Tell me exactly the line of resistance. No, no one can give you that. Nobody can give you that. There's no way that you will know that that's going to do a double dip for a second time. Apart from the fact we warned, by the way, there's complexity in the shoulder. It had 2 dips there. It could happen again. Yes, we said that. Oh, damn, it happened again. You're wrong. ETH is not going up. And it came quite some way down. This is a weekly chart right here. Should have seen it. So we used to dealing with this, because there's people that aren't really equipped to get what we do or say. They're not big enough. They're not big enough. Most of you are, and we appreciate you for that. And in fact, most people are very grateful for the commentary that we give. There is nobody who's going to give you every dollar of trade. Even though we warned you could have complexity in the right shoulder, given that you came into this with complexity on the left shoulder. There is no one else who even gives you that possibility in technical analysis that I know of. Yet they will shit on us that they didn't make money. It's just human nature. Sometimes the more you do, the more you get abused. It is the curse. It's the curse of meaning well to help and serve people, I can tell you. And sometimes I wonder, is it worth the while? Anyway, we don't see them as the common denominator of what we do here, and that's thankful. But as you can see, I'm in a belligerent old mood. So this squeezing higher, this smaller fractal on Ethereum, guys, squeezing higher, squeezing higher. This is a minor little shooting star on pullback. Let me take it back down to the 2 days, put that back in view. So there you go. You've been dripping little pippy up, so low vol, tipping, 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 and now you're getting a little bit of a pullback. You've got a long way to go. We've said to you, 23.29% coming for Ethereum, and that's the level we're wrong. If it breaks 1902, you know the level we accept we're wrong. We know the level that we've failed at. You know the level that we've been accumulated. You could have caught on that pullback there. Ran first interim, pull back, ran first interim, pull back. Since then, steady gains, small pullback. It's not a straight line to the second and the final. And it can go further, but it will pause after the 23.29 in all likelihood. So that is Ethereum. And it's a pickup on the dips moment. How far it dips? Can't tell you. How long it dips? Can't tell you. But it's a pickup on the dips unless it runs the 19.02. That's the game. That's more information than anybody else will give you. More information. But we're not going to tell you what minute, what second, what hour, and by how much, and how many days it goes up. I'm sorry. It doesn't happen. You want clairvoyance, you're not going to get it. You get on balance of probability, real technical analysis that you need to understand how to act on, and that just because we say we're bullish XRP or we're bullish Ethereum, your entries suddenly don't matter and the market can't move against you. Okay, so the big boy of the moment is in fact XRP. And did I do Bitcoin on the lower time frames? I'm not sure I did. So let me just finish there, because then we can spend our time on XRP. So I didn't drop down onto the 1 or 2 hours. There's some red lines in there. This doesn't necessarily feel like bottoming. You see these grind lines and this overall grind line and this price behavior. That tells me the chance of that 25 run is pretty decent. What does it mean? Another bunch of FUD that could come out. What's happening tomorrow? What's happening tomorrow that could trigger a spill here? And because you are dealing with yours truly 360-degree analysis on all markets, that is watching gold versus the euro that we have given to people following our Market Sniper channel after our community was served as well first, is also bunching up and waiting for news. So this is bunching up near the low end. That can mean a potential spill. And we're waiting for that 25K run to be run. So those that want Bitcoin and have decided Bitcoin's their token, they could in fact put limit orders in the 24,000s somewhere range. Go look at your legacy key levels of significance. That's not something I will cover in this YouTube. We do that in our premium community. Look at the link in the description below. Click on there and book a call. How best to fill limit orders if you want Bitcoin cheaper before it surge pumps, aka the 19K, 99K entry we gave to our community on the down leg after a kiss of the 25K that instantly saw it move $6,000 immediately in the favor, including triggering the neckline of a 25,000 trade and saw it go eventually up to 31K, almost largely without any major down days. When you want that and you feel ready and you recognize that's way more multiple worth to you as a skill set, as a service, than the entry fee, that's when you click a call and you book a link. Otherwise, you're not ready. So this price behavior can still dip lower. Why? What could be the triggering event? You mentioned gold, euro. What's that got to do with Bitcoin? Well, we're seeing the same kind of thing. You see that? Bunched up, reducing volatility, kind of skittish and volatile, could point to a dip. It could point to a dip. But overall, we see this going higher in time. So a final flush out, a run of the stops, everybody gets taken out. Quick, same for Bitcoin, up we go. And then we have an upside. That's gold, euro, an anti-fiat against a major fiat. So why is this coming to a head now? Well, tomorrow, friends, and this is something most of your crypto fanboys that moonin talkers don't cover with you, is that the CPI month on month is set to be a forecast of 0.2%, where the previous was 0.4, and the CPI year on year is expected to be 4.1. That's measured this month of this year as compared to the same month 1 year ago. So that doesn't have the rolling inflation. As that base level has gone up, and the longer we go forward, it's being measured to a more recent number that already had a high number in it. It's how much higher are we today than 1 year ago. Now, I want to tell you that June last year already had some scary inflation in it. Now, they're predicting it down. Core CPI, the things you most absolutely need, food prices, and we've highlighted this tweet recently, by the way, in terms of the market. So here is that inflation in terms of Western nations, particularly that I've highlighted to a number of people. 19% UK, the USA, the lowest of the Western nations, but still bad. You've got the Rand that's been really weak in the BRICS nations recently, but actually in Rand's term, there are a lot of homegrown foods, so I don't think that's going to be too bad. China is virtually flat, 0.4, India 3.8, Russia is flat with the wrong flag, and Brazil is 5.8. So in actual fact, this is a core inflation. Food inflation is a Western attack vector, which is why you're finding it as being the American farms being bought up, the Dutch farms being bought up, etc., etc. Most of this right sizing, which is reduction, is happening, of course, in the Western nations. That includes Europe, the Commonwealth, and North America. Europe, the Commonwealth, and North America, you know who's involved in that. So that key inflation number, if it comes in a little higher over here, if it comes in a little higher than expected, that could see the expectation of the chief central bankers of the world, yours Federal Reserve, neither federal nor a reserve, to put up rates faster or not to slow down rates in any way. That increases the yield on treasuries. That means instead of treasuries getting stronger and rates going down, it would increase the yield, higher interest rates, more pain on the economy. That would hurt the anti-fiat and potentially lend a little bit of support for the dollar. But we're not big dollar bulls or bears. We don't have particularly strong views. We could see it coming off a little bit against the euro broadly, but this for a short period where that inflation comes in higher, could give a stab of strength to the dollar that flushes the gold euro down a little bit. So gold goes down more than the euro would go down because it's an anti-fiat, a quick little dip before breaking to the upside as a possible outcome. If that happens, I don't know the future, I can only guess. That's one of the scenarios I would see. In the same way, rates going higher would work negatively for Bitcoin. Small little dip through the 25K, run a key number, get in time after that data a major move to the upside as a surge. Once it gets discounted in, the data is absorbed and you get the final push out. Often the real facts are known or guessed beforehand, and the selling on the release of the data is the end of the selling, and a lot of that selling has already taken place across the top here on the gold euro. And similarly, when we go back to the Bitcoin chart over here, potentially also on the Bitcoin chart. In other words, a lot of all of this, it's still going down. You lied. My money's not going up in value and you told me it would. You get a little bit of that structure too. Selling there, and selling there on the core CPI expectation for this entire month. So this doesn't come out again for this month. It's a biggish number. So a little flush out downside and a potential rally after that has given. You could get an opportunity to buy cheaper, and that could affect all cryptos to varying degrees. But as we highlighted, if you're in the right ones, you could in fact be up. And XRP is your darkest green. There she blows, 21.33%. Now in this environment, that is a very, very sturdy performance, my friends, in an environment where all the others are flat or down. By the way, Binance, which is the worst hit by that, down 26%. There's a massive difference to losing a quarter to gaining 22%, guys, as you can well appreciate in terms of what it does to 100 grand. I've got 121 grand now, and you've got 75. That means for your 75 in Binance token, in fact less than 75, it's almost 26, your 74 grand to equal my 122,000, you now need to do the better part of 65% just to get even. This is the value of investment placing. No leverage trading, guys. A purchase. No leverage trading in big tokens for which it's easy to move that kind of amounts and larger. That is the difference. And you'll say to me, becoming a member of your community is very expensive. Not becoming a member of my community is utterly the most expensive thing you can goddamn do. Hear me now. You are cocking it up without guidance, real method. You just lost by being in Binance token. Many of you, I'm not saying you're all in Binance token, you just lost a need to do 65% just to get your pot to where I was. And if you're in Bitcoin, you need to do. You're down. You're from your 100 grand. If you're 100%, you're down to 94, while other people are 122. You still got to make 30 grand on your 94%. You've still got to make 30 grand to get up to where we are. That's 30% plus. You need to make 30% plus on your 100K. How's that not useful to not be in that situation? How are you not making that decision? I don't know. We aren't always right, by the way. We accept that. But this is clearly where the game is. The Ripple has benefited immensely. I keep saying Ripple. I apologize. XRP, the token, That is known as XRP, not the corporation, that is Ripple. Forgive my autism. XRP, the token, is in a good situation for this period. Why? Let's cover a few of the things I've already said. Because it was vindictively, many will say, singled out for persecution by the SEC when others were left alone for an extended period. That is point number one. Somebody was arguing with me on the crypto universe again. What was he saying? Oh, it's because Americans can't hold it and therefore they weren't selling out. The SEC and what it does in the crypto space affects crypto full stop, including in the rest of the world. That is a wrong narrative, that there were no Americans to panic sell out of XRP. It's the wrong narrative. What's actually happened is it's a positive thing for other people to be put on the naughty step, apart from just being the only bad guy on the naughty step. He's misread the news. It's positive for Ripple. They've already got the legalese, the costs, and all of that baked into their token price. And now they're going to get the pushback and the fight and the benefit of a far larger crowd, all pissed off on the SEC, all bombing and dropping mortars on their head and pointing out their inconsistencies, which they don't have to pay for anymore. They're going to keep those guys spinning for the garbage they got, and it's going to bring clarity sooner. Now the SEC has lawyers from Binance, the exchange, the Binance token, the Binance stablecoin, Matic, Polygon, the corporations, Coinbase, you name it, every single token that's been listed down to Algorand and all the ones in between, all saying, where's your clarity? Why are you suing us? You look stupid, but this, but that. That's a lot of people that have to reply to letters. That's a lot of legal expense. It's a lot of extra money that has to go in. The best thing to do when you're blowing a lot of money and people saying you haven't been in is very clear, is to put an end to blowing the money and start to get clear. Can you see it? That's why Ripple goes up, because clarity is going to come quicker now that it's now, instead of being a little one-on-one spat that half of crypto even were cheering the SEC on about, now it's all of crypto land against the SEC. And that is positive for it, and it's not got to do with Americans not being able to panic sell it. Europeans could have panic sold it. Anywhere in the rest of the world could have panic sold it, but they haven't. Not to any degree that it didn't rally. The retail idiots panic sold and sold out here. And the smart money bought it back up, and I think you're going to get another one potentially. So this is a continuation, broadening structure from a bull pole that is upside like that. It is going to lead to a trade above that will take you through to the upside. The level and line that I expect to see broken is that one. However, there can again, and this is the opportunity for those that didn't listen, there can again be a chance that you might get a dip under a smaller grind line. I don't think for a minute you're going to see that low again. There could be a third weaker sell-off. There could be, especially if they announce an Ethereum, you're in the shit too, you're a security, or other FUD that is SEC related, or other crypto FUD that is not even SEC related, just general crypto FUD. There's all sorts of varieties that are possible. I think you could get a little sell-off one more time, and I don't think it breaks that low at all. I think it will stay in here. The volatility, this was your biggest knockdown, and it's perfectly intervening each time at the 54 cent. Once you break on the XRP, the 54 cent, you'll revisit as support, much like Bitcoin breaks the 25K, trades 24 something, maybe even 23.8 or 9, rallies up. That 25K now becomes real support that it blasts off from with real momentum and will hold. In the 54 cent category, you've only had a very small iceberg so far and a tiny, tiny wick seller of price behavior above that. You now break through the surface point. To the upside, you begin part and parcel of the larger structure. Remember the $17 call that we've made through the 17s, through the 16s? That is a much bigger time frame. Don't show up and say, it never went up. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, and then it's properly going to go up. And that's going to take some time. We think you're going to do something like that. There will be a sustained period where dullards, trolls, and fools will be showing up in our Twitter feed and said, but you said Ripple bull during that phase. And it might even come all the way back down here during that phase. But it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it may not, it might consolidate and just spin and go very low volatility. And you'll be going, nothing doing, poke Ripple with a stick. Why? You said big moon. But when it breaks and takes whatever high we will make out, we are going to be in a very strong period. But it won't perfectly replicate the history. There's no run like the first run. However, that was 3 candles on a monthly chart. Okay. Maybe it'll take 9 or 12, but it's going through 16 to 17 plus dollars potentially for us with the scope for overperformance on account of our view. We will wait 2.5 years for that to even start, and it might take 6 months to happen. But boy, you will be generally in the right place. Of those 6 candles, 5 will be up and 1 will be a moderate down. That's how it might play out. I can't tell you. I don't know that. I'm guessing. I'm throwing out some numbers. But let me say, you'll have to be a fool to get it wrong once you're in that. But you will need to take off for the same reasons we've always said. No profit is made in crypto. So this brings me to the end of the traditional macro cryptos and talk about Pulse. So we're going to say something about Pulse. PulseX brought on a fork of the Ethereum chain. Many people far better technically on the crypto space to discuss the minutiae of that. Started out of the Hex ecosystem is the popular word. I've come to hate jargon. Ecosystem. It sounds so pretentious. But anyway, it is an ecosystem. So it started with Hex, which is essentially eHex, Ethereum Hex. You now have pHex, which is on the PulseChain. And of course, you've got the PulseChain token and the PulseX exchange token. So a key point on round tripping is we highlighted, and I'm not making comparisons of Bitcoin or XRP with any other tokens or any other listings or any other people. I'm not making personal attacks on any other people. This is just commentary. You have to take off. We called the top on 51. 51 cents on something that was 4 digits, 5 digits. I don't even remember the exact number. There's no point in quoting me. Sub 1 cent. And I'm talking fractals of a cent, not even fractions of a cent that went up. If you didn't take 51 cents, you got a warning on the neckline at 37.5. And then you got another chance. Then you got again a warn by us at 20 cents. Then it broke down and then it rallied all the way back up to about 34 or 35. And that was like last chance cigar. It was almost a neckline retrace. I'm not even showing you the chart. It's in the previous YouTube where we spoke about Hex. And the key point I'm mentioning is you're going to need to take off on XRP at some point. You're going to make money and you're going to get greed reflex. You're going to say, never mind being worth 10, 20 million dollars. I want to be worth $100 million. I want to be worth this. Or never mind being worth $1 million when you were worth 30 grand before. I want to be worth 3 million. Whatever number. Never mind being worth few $100. I want to be worth $25,000. Whatever the number. You're going to get greed reflex. You're going to think about what you're going to buy. You're going to think about everything. The dopamine will be dumping. You're going to be thinking how smart you are, and this is the point where everyone saw how clever you were. You'll be calling your wife and showing you what you did. You'll be telling your parents, your mums, your dads, your uncles, your aunties, and your children. And that's the point, my friends, usually when you're at peak hubris. And I'm here to tell you, you need to take off. Because there's 1 or 2 people that commented, thank you so much. I cleared out my Hex at 40 cents. That people that didn't stake for ever and affinity in an uncertain world with CBDCs coming, with the SEC targeting DeFi specifically, interest rate payments. How can you be so sure that you're going to give permission to get an absolute a running F-slap into next week in penalties for cancelling a 4/5s because you've only done 3% of the full staking period to get out? You had to keep nimble. I kept nimble 3 months at a time and then took off and I was gone. I did the sack for Pulse. I've been dumping. And people say, oh, you're not a believer. You should be part of it. You're just a trader, a Trojan. No, you are implementing personality cult figure dim. The game is not to marry someone or to marry a token. The game is to have money management. Get your capital back, get your profits back. You worked for that. It's not somebody else's money. There's no casino effect. You went on risk for that project failing. You sat 2 years for it to come out on PulseX. And what am I seeing here when you look at PulseX? I'm so glad I dumped so much of it early. Why? What's happening? Down, down, down. It's the classic curve. I had a plan before. I knew what I expected. And it needed to be distributed. You sell out at the highs. Let me just give you an idea of what that actually means, selling out at the highs, in terms of this price behavior. We can even go 4 hourly here, because it has very short history. It is absolutely typical trajectory of a new token. A surge in the beginning. Lots of people that never got in Pulse, dumped their PulseX, switched to Pulse, Pulse relative value, lots of FOMO demand, because it was the first token, it's the original token, everyone thought it would be higher, down, 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 rally, down, 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 smaller rally, and steeper down, and rejection candle. The difference between distributing at 2,400, and that's with 3 digits in front, 2,400, 2,500, there was 3,000 on offer at one point almost. The difference between distributing here and here again and getting large amounts, getting your capital back, getting some of your growth back, and then having a small speculative position and resizing is huge. Now you sit at 847 and it's traded 804. That roughly is a third of the average. The third of the average. If you sacked 200 grand, if you sacked 200 grand, friends, and you could make and get out 300 or 400 grand and be sitting on 2x and still have some position, you've done right. Holding the elevator all the way down, that's a log chart, by the way. That's how it really looks. That's how it really looks. This is the point I'm making for our XRP friends. Don't marry forever. Don't become a believer. Understand you've got to take off. There are processes. We specialize in that. The link in the detail below will prevent you from falling into the same traps. And I know everyone's going to say this is a new token, it's a new cycle, it won't be the same, it's not directly comparable as tokens, they're not doing the same things, etc., etc., etc. The principle of round tripping, however, is the same. One guy got his hex out at 40 cents, the others are sitting with 2 versions of it, each worth roughly a cent something. That if you add it all, it comes to less than 3 cents. Getting the 51 cents was better. Getting the 37 cents was better. Getting 20 cents was better. Getting the 35 cent rally back up to the neckline is over 10, 12, 13, 14 times your money better. Getting out your risk capital early and not riding down, down, down. And who knows? They could be listed as well for the DeFi and the SEC and then say, oh, we couldn't help it, whatever, whatever. Okay, you've heard it all. That's the update on Pulse. Pulse looking, to me, it's in a downward trend, friends. And how far does it go? Does it run that first trade listing? That first trade is innocuous. That first trade is largely innocuous. It's got some way to go. Can it turn? Can it go back up? Absolutely. I'm not trying to trigger and upset the Pulsicans, people that are holding and have held, and the PulseX, any of the communities. It can all recover. But let me just say, you need to preserve capital. And many people are not preserving that capital. The opportunity at the beginning to get out was a great opportunity. Nothing's stopping you buying it back again later when you get a proper reversal in it technically. Okay, that's me done, guys. I'm going to finish up here. If you want to advance your maximization of this crypto bull market, you must click the link in the description below, book a call. We're going to be delighted to help you building our own wealth and supporting you to do that. It is non-advisory, it's a beautiful community. You will learn the HVF method magic. You'll have webinars, you'll have an amazing bespoke community platform and everything else. Book a call, it costs nothing, show up, be respectful. It's not a salesman, it's a community member there making the time to show you, and we'll see you on the other side. Till next time, bye for now.